Coming off a season 1 that did see some good play mixed with a little bit of some bad play, we ended up finishing 8-9 with a solid season 1. And that leaves us at the beginning of what will be season 2. We will go through the entirety of the offseason and the regular season of season 2 and see if we can make the playoffs. The offense, I think, was really pretty good for the most part last year. Obviously an 89 overall for strictly the offense. The defense for most of the year was about a mid-70s, and that's going to be the side of the ball that we're going to try to do the most amount of work on. As we begin here, the next thing for us to take a look at is to see if we have ourselves any Pro Bowlers and if we won any individual awards. And surprisingly, we only have one Pro Bowler, and that's Trent Williams on the offensive line, someone who could possibly retire, hoping he doesn't. As for the yearly awards, Jalen Hurts did win MVP. He was not our quarterback. Unfortunately, he went the pick right before we were able to pick our guy. So unfortunate, but technically still semi-apart, and maybe in the future, who knows, if Kyler Murray doesn't pan out, we make a trade for Hurts. As for the offensive rookie, we did not win, but we were in third with Marvin Mims Jr., who did have a pretty good season. As for defensive rookie, a little bit lower down, Jason Taylor, one of our safeties, was 6. And Kyler Murray finished 7th in the best quarterback race. Joe Mixon was at 6 for best running back. And across all receivers, no matter how long they've been in the league, for the AFC, Marvin Mims Jr. was voted 5th for best receiver. And season 1 officially finishes with the Patriots as the Super Bowl champions, 35-28 over the Saints. It's the 7th Super Bowl for the Patriots, with the Super Bowl MVP being Josh Jacobs. So that's fun. You guys see the rest of the award winners over on the right-hand side, but it's time to jump in to the offseason. And the big news for us to open the offseason is Trent Williams' retirement. Figured he would, was really hoping he would come back for one more year. That does leave an open spot on our offensive line that we're going to have to fill. But before we could do any filling of the roster, is there anyone initially that we want to try to re-sign? There is a young offensive lineman here in Morris. Not the best overall is 69, but would like to bring him back. He does have some interest as well. So let's just bump those numbers around a little bit and he will come back. Another guy I would like to bring back is the backup tight end in Braden Willis. He was a rookie last year. Would like to keep him around. I think he'd be a solid guy. We'll do with the 2 years, and yeah, that's what he's looking for. Now, the rest of these guys, some do have some interest, others not so much, but there's no one here who I think is extremely important for us to bring back right now. So we're going to withdraw these offers, and we'll see if we bring any of them back in open free agency, plus any other possible new people. And I'd say open free agency was all right here for us, mostly bringing back some former players, plus a couple new guys. So here is the first free agent class for us. Morgan Fox is back, as well as Witherspoon. We did bring in Tylan Wallace, and potentially he might find his way out onto the field in that starting rotation. We did bring in Cody Ford because we may need someone to get that start at the guard spot after Trent retired. So we'll see. We'll also have some options in the draft. Brought back Winfrey, brought back Norwood, same for Lacey. Brought in Steven Parker, had to bring in him because he's actually a former teammate of mine. Will be maybe in the safety rotation. We'll see where he best fits. Brought back Antwine, brought in Rodney Perkins. I don't believe we had him in season 1, and brought back Nate Landman to be a backup linebacker for us. So overall, nothing splashy, but a couple guys who will either be in the starting rotation, be next guy off the bench, or maybe, I don't know, at least some depth for sure. But with all of the open free agency done, it's now time to look forward to the draft and where we need to go. I don't believe we really need any of these running backs, though it's a possibility we could maybe pick 1 or 2 up, most likely just 1. The top guy does look interesting here in Shaquille Sims out of Oklahoma State. Does have good ball carrier vision, some carrying, some break tackle. Doesn't look to be a great receiving back, which is kind of what this offense uses. As for the receiver, because we could potentially use a number 1 receiver, Solomon Matthews, 5'11", 212. He does not have good deep route running. Catching traffic is all right. Catching is good, is an A, and C release. I'm not looking to go there in the round 1 to 2. If he falls, maybe we pick him up. As for the tight ends, the earlier round 1 and Kyrie Stewart, the round 2 to 3, I don't like as much as I like at least some of what I'm seeing here from Enrique Sherman. So if we take a look at his board here, 6'5", 247, 22 years old, out of Oklahoma, listed as a possession guy with some decent speed, decent strength. I mean, all around his combine and pro day was decent. His skills does have good short route running, good run block finesse, a lot of unknown here. So what we could use is potentially one of our last focus scouting on the tight end. We do not have an opening on the offensive line, so in terms of offensive linemen, there is Juwan Raymond, who does seem intriguing. Again, we don't know everything, but there is some intriguing stats there for sure. There's also Danny Akins, another round 1 to 2 who does look good, actually plays guard, listed as a power lineman. Defensive line, not a whole lot. There is a day 3 DT in Culliver, who, I mean, okay at best there. There's a speed rusher. I don't think we really need a speed rusher. Middle linebacker who does look decent, though we don't really need any new starters out there. I like the main guys we have. As for these safeties, a spot we definitely could potentially use some starters. Again, there's nothing really flashy with these top 2. There is a backup quarterback possibility and another edge rusher whose talent did go down. We know everything about Godfrey, and he's actually around 2 to 3. So not a whole lot for us to particularly go after. I do think we give the tight end one of those special scouts. I like mostly what we see there, and potentially we just go ahead and give it to the other offensive linemen just to finish off hopefully their scouting, give us a better idea of where they are expected to go. So those will be our focus scouts. Hopefully we'll find out a little bit more information, and it's on to the draft. Now, we don't actually pick in the draft until the 13th pick, so we have a little while. Now, on top of picking at 13, we do not have a second round pick. Our current slate is the first round, third, fourth, 2 fifths, and 2 sevenths. So in terms of who we could possibly go after early on, did we actually get the remaining information on these guys? Potentially, you can maybe reach on Matthews. I just don't think he would be a great spot for us. We did not get all the information on Enrique Sherman, though he's a day 3, so I'm not going to press that until maybe the 4th round or later. As for Juwan Raymond, he actually dropped quite a lot, so I'm glad we selected him as one of our scouts. As for the other offensive lineman, he too dropped in Danny Akins. So around 1 to 2, actually around 2 to 3. Again, good strength there. Some decent 3-cone, 20-yard, overall decent athlete. He looks like he's a very interesting blocker, actually. The finesse is not good really for either pass block or run block, but the power is decent, at least for the run blocking, not so great for the power. So interesting for sure. Hopefully we do end up with at least one of them so we can get some offensive linemen developing. Other first round talent. Do we really want to go after any of these guys? There's a round 2 to 3 in Williamson, so we don't really need to go that way. There is the outside linebacker who's again around 2 to 3. So the only one who we know from the original selection of the possible round 1s is Solomon Matthews here. And I just don't see a 13th overall pick. He's 21 years old, so I mean, fine. Decent to good speed. Okay strength. He has some broad, he has some 3-cone. In terms of his route running, I mean, the medium and short are good. Awful at the deep with a C release, so I think he would be okay. We might trade back into the later part of the first round, and we may need to go after Solomon Matthews. We will see if he's available at our pick, but we're definitely not trading up for anyone. So let's jump to our pick. Let's take a little peek. We'll see if Solomon Thomas is still available, and he's actually the top receiver on the board. Though they do not actually have him going, supposedly, at least in the top overall board for all positions. They don't have him going for 20 more selections. If we could go ahead and trade back a little bit, pick up maybe a second rounder as well, I feel like that would be the best get for us. So let's see what the trade options are. And the Bills are offering something here. We could trade to the 26th overall, so dropping back another 13 spots, but we will pick up a 2nd and another 7th. The 49ers are offering us a slightly earlier first, but we don't pick up a 2nd and just a bundle of later round picks in the future, plus a 6 and 7 this year. And going through the rest of them, none all too intriguing, so it seems like the best option would be the Bills. That is 13 more picks down the line. Our guy at receiver may not be there. I don't think it's a massive need for us. So I am fine with us pushing things back and seeing what's available at that 26 overall pick. So let's do that. We'll trade with the Bills here. Hopefully it works out for us. And we are not lucky enough to have him fall back to us. He goes to the Steelers, a few selections before us. So let's see what our next best option is. Well, it's definitely not going to be Julian Godfrey, the right outside linebacker, because he went the very next pick to the Colts. Nor is it going to be the guard in Danny Akins. He goes the next pick to the Bears. So we're running out of options here. So the only remaining projected round 1 to 2 is Juwan Raymond, but he's around 3 to 4, and I didn't think he actually looked all too promising. So the next best options would be Tyree Stewart around 2 to 3. There is the middle linebacker in Justin Robertson, another round 2 to 3. And the free safety in Lance Williamson, round 2 to 3. Who again, doesn't look all too intriguing. He has the C-zone coverage, the B-man. So really at this spot, I'm not seeing anything for us to really try to go after. I think we could trade maybe for a first round next year, and hopefully we have some better luck then. Or even, we could try to make a trade here on defense. Adobe Awuzie would be nice to pick up. What is their interest if we just offer up the current round 1 that we have? Where does that leave us? And they actually will just take it straight up. You know what? I'm fine with that. Maybe we could have got a little bit more, but we bring in a number 1 really good corner, something this team needed. And then from there, we could drop to the 2nd round and just see what's available to us. And right now, the best match here for who's available and where we're picking is Justin Robertson, the linebacker. He's a round 2 to 3 projection. We're late 2nd round. He's got good size though, 6'2", 244, 21 years old. Pretty good speed as well, good strength there. Good 20, 3-cone not so good. Did have a decent vert. Has some okay cover skills, but he could definitely help with run stopping. That was something we were a little bit struggling at last year. Tackling doesn't look like it's going to be fantastic, but has the potential to be a B, with awareness possibly being an A. Same for play rec. There is some possible really good ratings here with Robertson. So let's go with linebacker. And it's a hidden dev with 85 speed, 76 strength, 83 acceleration, and agility. We might have to find a way to get him on the field immediately. Now with a very late 3rd round pick, actually the 31st pick in the 3rd round, so almost the 4th round. Again, we have a guy who fits that spot really well in Zaire Hobson. I think I'm pronouncing that first name correct. 6'2", 257, 23 years old, speed rusher out of Kansas. He has some good speed, not very strong. We'll see how well that translates, but he does have B for finesse moves and block shedding plus awareness. So there is some intriguing ratings here. And in the 3rd to 4th round, having that dual type of edge guy, I think it'd be really solid for us. So it's nothing splashy by any means, but it could be good. He's just a normal dev, does have 86 speed, 71 strength. So we're gonna have to try to figure a way to get him on the edge. Potentially we'll see what all guys we have on this team when we run a 3-4. Defense is up for change this year. Now in the mid 4th round, pick 16, I'm thinking we go ahead and go with a tight end. I need at least one more tight end on this roster. We only have 2, plus we need someone to play fullback. We've been using Pirine, so either way we need a tight end. And Sherman, I think, could fill that role decently well for us. Again, he's not a down the field kind of guy. He has some good short route running, has good medium route running, not good deep. He has some potential to be a good run blocker as well. All in all, I think this would be a great get for us. So Sherman is the next pick. with normal dev, 80 speed, 72 strength, 86 acceleration. Pretty good there. Hopefully, he finds a nice role. Now, we still have 5 picks left, and we have 25 guys on our favorite board, so that is good. But with the 10th pick in the 5th round, I think we're going to go with James Culliver, the DT. We need someone to start developing there. We have a lot of older guys on the defensive line. He's 6'4", 304, 23 years old, out of Oklahoma, listed as a run stopper. He has some okay strength, nothing fancy. He's not very fast, but he does have a pretty good 20-yard shuttle, so some mix in there. He's not very intelligent, has the C awareness, D play rec, C finesse moves, but he has the possibility of at least having, I would imagine, this C block shedding, considering he is listed as a run stopper. Don't think it's going to be fancy, but hopefully someone we can develop with a normal dev, 84 strength, 60 speed. Most likely he's going to be a depth player for possibly a couple seasons. Just a few picks later, I think we're going to double dip here at linebacker with Joe Ryan. 6'4", 235, 21 years old, out of Oklahoma. Another run stopper who has good speed, decent strength, all around a really good athlete. And his skill set, he may have some decent cover skills, not quite sure. That's a B to a D though, listed as a run stopper. I imagine it's probably a C or a D, but we need some depth at this spot. We don't have a whole lot of it. So we will bring in Joe Ryan, and he's a hidden dev with 92 speed. Potentially, depending on how well that cover skill asset is, maybe even a strong safety. We'll see. We'll see. Now dropping all the way down to the 7th round, where we still have 3 picks and 17 guides on the board. Who do we go after? Well, right now, the only draftable guy, at least projected, is Assad Hurst. Another linebacker. I really don't think we need to draft 3 linebackers. Now, this is probably going to maybe be a practice squad player, at least a depth pick. But John Bullough, potentially. Big dude out of Colorado State at right tackle, 6'8", 334 at 22 years old. He's strong, he's slow. Does he play tackle? We'll see. He has some possibility of having some intriguing ratings. He's going to be more of a run blocker than a pass blocker, so I'm already thinking maybe shifting him down to guard. We'll see. We need some depth. He'll be the next pick with a normal dev, but 90 strength, 58 speed. And here's a potential corner with some upside. One good size at 6'2", 193, 22 years old, out of Colorado State. He has some good speed. He's just not strong at all. But the other things are, at least intriguing. Now, he does have good press with a B. Also has B block shedding, C zone coverage. We don't know about the man. That's anywhere from a C to an F. Potentially, maybe has some developmental ratings to go towards a slot corner. He could be at least depth for us. And he's pretty much the last intriguing player we have. So we'll pick him up, normal dev, 91 speed, good acceleration, change of direction as well. But we will use our final pick, and it's going to be on Lance Starks, a running back, 5'11", 223, 22 years old, out of Oklahoma. He's not a burner, but solid speed with some power there as well. At least you would assume so with those bench reps. Now, he doesn't have some of the best looking moves, but he has some of the best looking talent that we have available to us. And there's no reason to trade a 7th for a future 7th. So we'll pick up Starks. We'll see how he does. He's a normal dev with 90 speed, 88 acceleration, 78 change of direction, and 80 agility. Plus pretty decent strength at 77. But he rounds out this draft class. And overall, I'm honestly not too mad at this one. There's not a whole lot of top end guys, but we have a lot of decent developmental, maybe rotational guys here. The linebacker we brought in, Justin Robertson, he's a 75, and I think he could definitely be starting day 1 for us. He has good speed, tackling, block shedding is there. Awareness and even play rec aren't too bad either. Need to work on some cover skills for sure. But he looks like a really good talent that we weren't even thinking of going after. The speed rusher we picked up, only a 66, so about dead even with what a lot of our edge guys are. The rushing moves are okay, 70 finesse, block shed 72. We'll see how he fits after we reorganize this defense. The tight end in Sherman is a 68, and I'm pretty sure that's what Willis is as well. So we have a tight race for tight end 2, possibly to eventually take over for tight end 1. The speed and catching, solid. Decent blocking as well. I mean, overall, I don't think like that's too bad of a pick. Now, I was hoping for a little bit more here with Culver, the DT. He ends up only being a 64, and he needs some work. He could very well be on the practice squad at least for this first season. As for the later round linebacker, Joe Ryan, looking pretty solid, just under the 70 with the 1 boost. So he's actually a 68, but he has the speed. The zone coverage and man coverage is definitely not there, so he's not going to be possibly shifting over to a strong safety. I had my fingers crossed that we were going to find a guy, but no. He's definitely going to be a developmental guy who already has some pretty decent awareness and play rec to start. Bullo, the tight end, I wasn't quite sure on. 66, pretty decent backup. He's definitely going to need to work on a lot of skills. He's not in line to start, but could be a good bench player for us. Now the late corner, he's luckily getting a +3 boost right now, but he's actually a 62. The man coverage is not there. The best hope for him is to shift over to free safety. And Starks, not so great either. A 62 true overall, getting the +1 boost. But the ratings aren't bad. It's just not top tier by any means. Does he happen to have any run blocking? No, that's a 30. So he's definitely not going to be a fullback either. But he could be a developmental guy, maybe practice squad season 1. But now I will jump through the preseason, get the roster all organized, practice squad, all of that. And we'll take a look at the final roster moving into season 2 and then get into some actual season action. Now on the offense, we're really not going to see much of a change in terms of the starting lineup. Really the only difference is we are going to start the young guard in Morris. We did sign Ford, he's on the older side. They're both the same or basically the same overall. So we're going to go with the younger guy there, try to get him developing. As for the tight end spot, Sherman will be tight end 2. But we're going to use Willis as the primary fullback, so that should open up some spots for Sherman whenever we come out in some heavier sets. Pretty much the running back group is going to remain the same rotation. Chenault's going to be our number 1 receiver, and we're going to try to rock with Preston Williams as the number 2. If he continues to have injury problems, we do still have Pringle around. As for the defense, as you can tell here, we have switched to a 3-4. So the defensive line is primarily going to be Okoronkwo, Phillips, and Agba. Week 1, we will not have Phillips. He had a practice injury. So Winfrey will step in. We also have Antwine, and both Agba and Fox can sub in at that spot when needed. As for the corners, we're going to have Awuzie and Oliver be the main outside guys. Flowers will be the primary slot guy. He is out this first week again with a practice injury, so Witherspoon will be the next guy up off the bench. In terms of middle linebackers, we have so many, and we have 3 starting quality, but obviously you're not going to have 3 out there. So Murray and Robertson, the rookie, will get the start in the base packages, the 3-4 packages. Whenever we switch to a nickel, we're going to see Collins come out as that sub backer along with Murray. So trying to evenly split with Murray getting majority of the reps. As for the outside rushers, we're going to have Gibson and Perkins. Gibson is going to be a primary rusher for us in the nickel, going down with these same 3 at the bottom. As for free safety, Yeast is going to continue to start there, and strong safety, we're going to have a bit of an experiment here. As we've moved over Brian Asanoa from middle linebacker, he has plenty of speed, 87 with 92 acceleration. The coverages are a little bit lacking, 66 zone, 69 man, but he could hit. So hopefully, and he has good awareness. So hopefully that will do well and he could play a good box safety role for us. We'll see how he does at that role. He does have a good overall at it. I want to say it was a 76. Yeah, 76. Our next best guy is a 69 in Taylor. So either way, it seems like a bit of an upgrade without ever having to draft anyone. As terms of the specialist, we did talk about Witherspoon will be getting the start in the slot. For the first week, Flowers will go back to that spot. Gibson will be on the outside as an edge rusher. Both Agba and Fox will be rush DTs, with us having the injury to the normal DT. And Okoronkwo will be another edge guy for us. Murray and Collins will be the sub backers, with Robertson being the primary next guy up. Slot receiver is going to be Marvin Mims Jr. He was fantastic there last year. We have Olabisi Johnson backing up and Tylan Wallace. Those two could very easily be switched. And then we're going to see a little bit more of Eric Gray as a third down backup running back for us. I liked what we saw in week 18 last year, so he's proven that he should have a little bit more playing time. So all in all, we did improve the defense, which was the goal of the offseason. We did see a little bit regression of the offense. That's down to an 85, but the defense up to a 77 before any morales or anything change any of these overall. So hopefully we're going to see a much more balanced team as we begin this season. We're going to start week 1 against the Texans with a little bit of some quarter sim, maybe jump into the fourth. Let's see how we begin. And as season 2 is underway, a lot of back and forth, no one's scoring yet. Texans do get a touchdown on the board just before the end of the first quarter. We'll continue on through the second with a quick scored up for us to answer back. Houston grabs a field goal. We grab a second touchdown. It's 14-10 with no one scoring before half. We'll go through the third quarter as well. Another quick score for us. We're up 11, though a nice steady drive, and it looks like they went for 2. It's a field goal game as we start the fourth quarter. So let's slow it down a little bit. Joe Mixon, 8-yard rush. We need 2, but we pick up 11, Chenault Jr. Again, we jump inside the red zone. We will watch from there. 2nd and 10, we are close. Give us the first down and we're in. That'll do. Trying to widen our lead once again here. Make it a 10-point ball game. We got a bunch up top. Tight end down to the bottom is Trey McBride. It'll be Murray. Going up top has Mims, who does not turn the corner, but does pick up a couple yards. Kyler Murray, 252 yards, 3 touchdowns so far today. So clearly the passing game is working pretty well for us. With a 2nd and goal, it's the I form. We hand it off Mixon with a cut to the top and into the end zone. Make it that 10-point ball game we were looking for. We saw some great blocks there from Willis at fullback and the pulling guard. Great juke as well as we have a 3rd and 7. They pick it up with a rookie tight end of theirs, Jimmy Favors. 10 yards. 5 more goes to Anthony Richardson. 2nd and 5, a throwaway. 3rd and 5, they pick up 7 with Breece Hall. Again, they're down 10 points here. About 3.5 minutes left as they're getting some chunk plays. But a penalty will back them up. 1st and 20, they pick up 8, Brandon Cooks. 2nd and 12, they pick up 3. Another 3rd down that they convert. So we'll jump in, watch the remainder of this defensive drive as we're in the shadow here of the Texans Stadium. As they'll dump it off to their tight end, we'll pick up a few yards. 192 yards and a touchdown for Richardson as we hit the 2-minute warning. And it'll be 2nd and 7 as they move Hall towards the top. Don't know how Asamoah's been doing so far. I'm interested to see how the stats look as we move along. It is a drop. Hit comes in at the perfect time, knocks it away. 3rd and 7. And we'll be coming at him from that double A gap look. I imagine we're going to drop back into coverage, and we will. We don't bring anyone extra, but it's a shot to the end zone. Texans not going away yet. Brandon Cooks pulls it back to a field goal game. So as the offense heads out, we need to run some clock here. As there's a minute 50 seconds, we hand it off Mixon. Finding a gap, bursting through, picking up 5 as we definitely were already past the 2-minute warning, so it was actually a timeout. Texans timeout. Madden's broke. Stretch up top. Mixon, first down. Not gonna break the tackle, but that's fine. We get the first down, let this clock not continue to roll. 2nd timeout from the Texans, as it will be from shotgun. Handing it off Gray. No, and that's not Gray. Actually, Chenault goes back to the running back spot. He'll pick up 1. Fun thing when you use the 49ers playbook. As it's 2nd and 9, back to the normal running game. Mixon, about a gain of 8, maybe 9.5, or around 9. Either way, it's a 3rd and 1 to put this game away. Split backfield from shotgun. Murray eventually will take the snap. Hand it off this time is Gray, and he powers through for the first down. Should be a win here in week 1. And that's exactly what we're going to see as Murray takes the final kneel down. We start 1-0. No better way to start. Hopefully we just need to see this continue. We opened up, if I'm not mistaken, last season with a win in week 1, but we struggled to keep things going. Now this one was closer than it probably needed to be. Let's hope our defense continues to clean things up. And as the first quarter of the season comes to an end, it was not a good start. 1-3 in week 2, we got blown out by the Ravens, 35-7. We then had a little bit more offense, a little bit better defense against the Chargers, but still lost 24-17. Our best game, tying our highest scoring against the Raiders, a division rival, though we gave up the most amount of points we had this season, 38-28. So we are struggling out the get-go. And I have completely forgotten, there is a school that we have not included at all in this challenge, and that is actually Air Force. Don't know what all options we have, but potentially we might need to make some moves. But to get at least an idea of what's been happening so far this season, let's take a look at the stats, right? We are 21st in the NFL for offense, 29th for defense. So both sides are struggling. Through 4 games, Kyler Murray, just 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and he had 3 touchdown passes in week 1. So in the last 3 games, he's only had 2 touchdowns. So that is not good. Rudolph has had a touchdown and an interception. He's thrown 5 times. Don't know if there was a slight knock there for Murray at some point. His completion percentage is okay, completing 2/3 of his throws. He's been sacked 9 times in 4 games, so not fantastic. Mixon averaging about 4.5, 75 yards a game, 3 touchdowns. I don't feel like that's too bad. Murray hasn't rushed for a touchdown, nor has he fumbled. He rushes for about 23 yards a game. P. Ryan, solid as the backup. Even Gray, I mean, only 3 carries, so not much to judge off of, but solid. And we've even gotten a fullback dive to Braden Willis for a touchdown, so there's that. As for the receiving group, Mims continues to lead us, 2 touchdowns for him. Chenault only 1. He's averaging about 47 yards per game. Not great. Mims only 56 per game. McBride 43. So there's no one really separating here in the receiver room. As for blocking, currently it's Bakhtiari who's given up the most sacks, 3. Johnson 2. The second-year player who's now starting at left guard, 2 with Morris. Tyler Smith, 1. And Humphrey doing solid at center with 0. Defensively, Murray Jr., 30 tackles. Okay, tackles for a loss. We have 4 for Phillips, who's only played in, I think, 2 games up to this point. So, fantastic. Glad to have him back. Murray also has had 2. Asamoah's had 2 from the safety spot, so good to see him getting at least stuck in the running game. Agba 2. We're getting some. Nothing spectacular. Sack-wise, pretty light, though it's a little over 1 per game. Agba has averaged 1 a game. Fox had 2, and Gibson 1. So Gibson's taking a little bit of a step back from last season. Interceptions just 2, 1 for Murray and 1 for Awuzie. What about catches allowed? Is Madden recording that properly at all? If they are, it's not across the entire season. At least past deflections, we've had some. Any forced fumbles? No. So, kind of hard to tell. As for the kicking game, Tanner Brown, I don't think I mentioned it. We have new kickers and punters this year. Tanner Brown, 50%, 1 of 2 for field goals, solid from extra points. And we actually had to move Matt Amendola to punter because I couldn't find one from his school that was available for us. So he's doing all right, averaging about 47 yards a punt. Now, if I am to trust my source that I use to help try to find players from available schools, Jordan Jackson is the only available one. He's a 65 overall DT at 26. So we're not missing out, but we did add some guys from the next draft class, which we'll get into maybe towards the end of this video. But as we sit right now, we need to get things rolling. We are currently bottom of the AFC West. Raiders are 4-0. I want to say they were last place, if I'm not mistaken, last year. Right now, the Chiefs barely above us, 2-2. Chargers doing fine, 3-1. So we need to get something going here and hope that we could find some wins before the Week 7 bye. And we would end up splitting the next 2 games, with our best game being the one against the Bengals, 27-10, but we then lost to the Raiders by 5, 25-20, and they swept us this season, though we did play at least a little bit better defensively in that second game, offensively not as much. So at the bye week, we're struggling right now, for sure. We've only won 2 games, And right now the Raiders are running away with the division. 6-0, the Chiefs, 1 game above us, Chargers 2 games above us. We have to put together some solid wins. So it's essentially now or never for us to start to get things going. So let's jump into the next game against the Rams and see how we do. And once again, we're going to go through at least a couple quarters here, see how the team works, and we at least grab a lead here before the end of the first quarter. 7-0 as we start the second. Looks like that might remain. No, we double that, make it 14-0, though they do grab a touchdown late and a field goal, but so do we. Somehow we drive down with a touchdown lead going into half. So let's go through the third quarter here. As a lot of points get scored quickly, it's still a touchdown game. As we start the fourth quarter, 24-17. Once again, let's slow this one down. 2nd and 3, and it looks like they're about to level this one up, and they do. Wan'Dale Robinson with the touchdown. They hit the extra point. So pretty much a whole new ball game here in the fourth quarter. Let's just see how well our guys handle it. And, well, 14 yards to Preston Williams. Pretty good start. As we get close to the 40, then a throwaway. 2nd and 10, and 12 more. Preston Williams. Love to see it. With a 5-yard rush, Joe Mixon. Again, if we get inside the red zone, we'll jump in. Mims gets us down to the 30. For the first down, we then lose about 8 yards. Brian Burns. 2nd and 18. Dropped Marvin Mims. 3rd and 18, we pick up 6. We'll take the field goal from here, and Brown will hit it. So we take a small lead, 27-24 defense. Can you come through for us here? Get the stop, as it's a 3rd and 4, as sacked by Emmanuel Ogbah. Does get the stop. Back in their own territory, they are forced to punt away, and how about let's jump in from here? Really need the run game to come in strong as we're under center. Single back set, Kyler Murray. We'll hand it off to the bottom. It got blown up from the get-go there, 91. Couldn't quite read the name of the back, Wise Jr.? It vaguely rings a bell, but not quite. This will be 2nd and 13, Murray. We'll dump this one off. Barely getting away, Mixon close, but not enough for the first down. Will be 3rd and 1. And it'll be a heavy set I formation. We drop Willis to help lead the way, and it will be a gashing first down for Mixon to about midfield and crossed it by a couple yards. We've had 162 rushing yards in this game, so it doesn't seem like we're passing it all too much. As we're sticking under center, single back set, stretch down to the bottom. Breaking away from the first, not quite from the second. Mixon, 17 rushes, 138 yards, and a touchdown. And we're leaning on him here late to try to help us win this game as we hit the 2-minute warning. At this point in the season, only having 2 wins, playoffs it's a big stretch. But if we could turn things around, put together some streaks, we might be able to make something happen as Burns gets another tackle in the backfield. That time a tackle for a loss of 1, 3rd and 11. Murray stepping up. He's going to scramble, finds a cut, and close. They do give us the first down as the Rams have to call their second to last time, or I guess first to last. They had their second timeout. Just make things simple here as we move around Willis. He'll help lead the way, picks up a good block, and another first down run for Mixon. He's going to need a nice bath after this one. But with the final timeout called, kneeling it out Murray. Though we might have to run a couple more plays here. Let's see, we got 2nd and 3rd down. That'll waste about 80 seconds, so it's going to be close. We might be able to kneel this one out, though we're not actually kneeling it out here if I actually looked at the play. Mixon right down the middle will pick up an extra few yards, 150 plus for him on the day. But that will do it for us. That gets us under 40 seconds here with the clock still running. Set to kneel out this one. It'll be another field goal margin of victory for us. So despite us having a much higher rated offense isn't scoring a whole lot. Defense is giving up about just as many points as we're scoring. So something might need to change. Maybe scheme perhaps will boost this offense moving forward. Now, as we've reached essentially the 3-quarter mark of the season, we've gone on a very interesting stretch of games ever since that Rams 27-24 win. We followed it with a 36-35 win versus the Buccaneers, and it was through a large fourth quarter comeback, 22 points alone in the fourth. Great win there. We then followed that with a 6-0 win, 2 field goals, no touchdowns for either team. We then dropped the next 2 games, 31-21 versus the Browns, and then shut out 33-0 versus the Falcons. But we bounced back in division, 17-10 with a win. Against the Saints, 31-20 with a win. And as we have 4 games left, 1 more remaining in division, we may have a slight chance at squeaking into the last wildcard spot once again. We are 7-6. Again, this is going to be a big game against Kansas City. They're just a game behind us. It's almost, you could say, a make it or break it part of the schedule. Dolphins and then Chargers. I was wrong. We had 2 division games. Chargers, they're 10-3. Week 17 is going to be a big game. Possibly even week 18 to squeak in. The current playoff picture looks like this over on the AFC with the Chargers at 5. So we're not out of it entirely, but we definitely need to most likely win out. And we squeak by with another win versus the Chiefs, so we sweep them 24-21. Hope still alive. But against the Dolphins, we fall 27-10. And on top of that, we also picked up a couple injuries from this one, as it's really narrowing down the possibility of us squeaking into the playoffs. The 2 injuries that we did receive is to a starting tight end, Trey McBride. Good thing we now have a couple behind him. He could possibly be out the rest of the season if we don't make the playoffs and do well in the playoffs. And Morgan Fox is also out. Both of them will miss the next 4 games, if we have 4. But as it currently stands, we are definitely not winning the division. We just have to hope we could squeak in behind somebody. And the teams we're really chasing are the Colts at 6 and the Jets at 7. Now the Jets are 8-7. We have the same record as them. I can't quite remember if we played against them this season. So hope still alive. A big game here against the Chargers. And I think we need to do another quarter sim here. So as we jump into this primetime game, playing for a chance at the playoffs, first quarter ends with a tied score of 0-0. As we start the second quarter, a lot of back and forth, still no score at halftime. We'll continue through the third. Someone looking for their first points, and it goes to the Chargers, but we answer back with the extra point, grabbing a lead as the fourth quarter begins. And a knock away by Awuzie. Gonna be 3rd and 2, and they lose 2. Can they hit the field goal from here? No, they punt away. A great chance for us to try to widen our lead. Starting back at the 20, Murray under center. It's a single back set. Will be a handoff down the middle. Pirine bouncing to the outside, shakes a couple guys. Will pick up 6. His 3rd carry, 16 yards and a touchdown so far today. As we'll stick with a similar look, perhaps. We also bring out an offensive lineman all the way up top to help out at tight end. With a stretch to the top, not getting very far. Maybe about a yard, perhaps? But we'll need 4 at least to get up to the 30 for a first down. It will be a pass from Murray. Going across the middle, he has Marvin Mims. I believe Marvin Mims' first name. Either way, it's Mims Jr. with the first. Pretty sure Marvin Mims. Don't know how I would forget. I've already said it, 28 times? As it is the 1st and 10 up to the 34. Murray rocking it in and will find Chenault Jr. crossing midfield to the 44. A massive play here for us. As again, only up 1 point here. Would like to widen that lead. If we could drain some clock along the way too, that'd be fantastic. With a bunch up top from Murray. Swinging it all the way up, we do go Willis, who maybe gains about half a yard, if that. And his starting role today, 3 receptions, 22 yards. As we go back to the running game, Pirine just pounding through. Will be a gain of about 7. We're seeing a lot of him late. Worry is that perhaps we saw an injury to Mixon that obviously we didn't see earlier. With a 3rd and 3 up top, Mims with a nice sideline grab. Plus, he's going to grab a couple extra yards after. Liking what we're seeing so far from this drive. Just some steady moving, letting that clock roll. As we're inside the 30, play action, going deep and almost, but just a little too tall. So instead, 2nd and 10, the first time that clock has stopped in a little while. As Murray will throw from the pocket, dumping it off. We'll find Gray, who will maybe pick up a couple yards. Kyler has thrown an interception today. Hopefully we don't see that down close to the red zone here. With a 3rd and 7. Murray's going to step up, scramble, open space, first down inside the 10. He takes the hit, gets squished, but down to the 7. As the clock rolling under 3.5 minutes left in this one. Trying to possibly secure a spot, at least for a play-in. Into the playoffs as Pirine breaks the tackle down to the 2. That would have been a great highlight if he was able to get in the end zone, but it will be a split backfield here on 2nd and goal. Still no Mixon, so we'll have to check out on the injury report at the end. But Gray with plenty of space gets a little XP with that broken tackle. We do widen our lead as Chandler Jones gets a little shaken up on the play. Or the point after. This should be a nice, you would hope, steady lead to finish this game off. But the Chargers and Joe Burrow above us, currently in standings. Want to make sure they solidify their spot and potentially still try to fight for that top seed, or win at least, in division. It's a drop play 1. Burrow delivered a good ball there, just the receiver heard the footsteps. It's going to be a tight shotgun look here on 2nd down. From the pocket, Burrow going up top, has their guy in double coverage, knocked away. They came into this game as the 5th best passing attack, but only about 90 yards throwing so far in this one. Defense has played massive as Burrow loading up to go deep downfield, has their guy, but it comes up short and we knock it away. Only 50% on his throws, as that one should have been a big play to DK. But instead, a 4th and 10, game on the line for the Chargers. And for us, as Burrow, stepping up in the pocket, throws, downfield, he has his man. That was our former linebacker in Asamoah coming up short on the attempted breakup. We'll see how he does the remainder of the games that we watched this episode, because we haven't really seen him in action much. That was the first time. Defense has done all right, I feel like, this year. As they swing it out up top, gain of 5 yards to Kamara. Wearing 24, that should be illegal. With a 2nd and 5, about a minute and a half left. They're down 2 possessions. Burrow, quick throw, finds their target once again, this time the tight end right up the seam. And they'll quickly get back to the line. Just over a minute left. They do have all 3 timeouts. Burrow down to the bottom, finds Kamara, gains some yards, steps out. Now, actually, it's still a 1-score game because they could hit the 2-point conversion, so we need a stop here from the defense. As they hand it off, Kamara has space. Asamoah there to slow him down, as well as the rookie linebacker helping get the stop. With a 1st and goal, they spread wide. Burrow sitting, dumping, not dumping. They actually took a shot to the back of the end zone. A little bit wide. 48 seconds, all 3 timeouts, but it's 2nd and goal. Burrow going all the way up top. We collapse on it quickly. 3rd and goal. Without any penalties, just 2 possible plays remain for the Chargers. Burrow, quick throw, finds their target. Dalton Kincaid holds on to it. The hit came in, timed really well, but we don't knock it free. And now to tie the game. With 43 seconds on the board, it's the 2-point. With a quick throw, they find DK this time. We have a tie ball game here, 43 seconds left. But as we come out here with the offense, let's jump in to make sure we use these timeouts properly. As we spread wide, have 2 either side. Needing something, we go deep downfield. Williams underthrown. He had a step, needed that ball about 3 yards further downfield. Well, we need to get to essentially inside the 40 for a possible field goal. but we can't even get the throw off in time. For the halfback screen, it's a massive loss on second down, 3rd and 20. Might need to let this clock roll here. At this point, essentially, we're gonna go into overtime. Defense couldn't get the stop we needed. We couldn't get any chunk plays on the first 2. So we do send it into OT. Still fighting for that chance, for the play-in, for the postseason. As we win the coin toss, we will be receiving with a chance to walk this game off. And we'll give it back to the team, see what they could do. As we start back at the 25, Murray making a check at the line. We're in pistol. We're gonna go with a stretch down to the bottom. We do break the tackle, but not gonna get back to the line. Loss of 3, play 1. So we'll shake up the look on second down. I formation. Murray under center. Going back to the run, P. Ryan down the middle, breaks 1 tackle. We'll pick up the lost yardage and add 3 on top of it. But it's a big 3rd down here, 3rd and 7. We got 2 down to the bottom, 1 up top. Murray from the pocket. It's a clean pocket. He steps up, has space, getting the 1st down, taking the contact, keeps this drive alive. Patrick Queen just a little bit slow to react there. Looking for an upset here against a division rival, trying to find our way into playoff contention. With a cutback, P. Ryan finds space, cutting towards the top. He's down to the 45. Definitely didn't expect to see much of P. Ryan today, but he's running well with the opportunity. As we go back to him, cut down to the bottom, avoids 1 guy, does not break the 3rd defender that he faces. But a good gain on 1st down, picking up 4, leaving 2nd and 6. With only 3 minutes remaining here in OT, we're draining this clock as well as Murray takes the sack. Tonga drops them back at the 47. It's 3rd and 11. Field goal range is about where the 1st down marker is. This might be 4 down territory here as Murray from the pocket. Rolling, waiting, hesitating. He will throw it out of bounds. Step up, take the free yards. Now I know this is risky here, but we're playing for playoff play-ins. How many times can you say play in one sentence there? Either way, we're going for it here. Needing to pick up a 1st down. Across the middle, we have Chenault, who drops it. He had the 1st. It was a great throw from Murray. And now the Chargers will only need a field goal. They start close to midfield. 2:20 on the clock. Both teams have 2 timeouts. There'll be an I formation stretched down to the bottom. Kamara gets by Asamoah, the juke, plus a broken tackle, and that just might be field goal range. I would say so far not great first impressions for Asamoah at the strong safety spot, but he has the highest rating. As we're under 2 minutes now, going deep. Needed that to be a pick. Oliver just breaks it up. Make it 2nd and 10 at the 31. A sack could be big here. As Burrow from the pocket, we send the extra guy, but he finds his target. 1st down inside the red zone. It's about now or never for a turnover. As they're at the 17, Kamara with space down the middle. Makes a cut, picking up about 5. They are not content with the field goal. They want a touchdown to walk this one off. As Burrow from the pocket, going across the middle, has their guy cutting up down to about the 2 before getting stopped finally. Pittman Jr. with the grab, his 4th, 37 total yards as Kamara could seal this game and will. Walks in untouched. Chargers come storming back late and win it in overtime, possibly ending our playoff hopes. Just devastating there. Had the opportunities. You can't say we didn't. It was within our own grasp to win this game and get us into at least that final play-in spot. We'll see what happened with some of the other AFC teams, if there's still a chance. And we have a logjam here in Week 18 for that final playoff spot. The Jets currently have it. The Ravens also right there. We're right there, and the Chiefs all right there. So, because we did not win that game against the Chargers, we do not control our own destiny. We need help but we could at least do our part in trying to win in Week 18. And it'll be against a not so good team. The Panthers went 5-11. If we get the win, we get some help, we're in. And in the game of the episode, we start on offense. Would like to have a quick start here, as we're obviously still missing our number one tight end, so we have an offensive lineman out there to help lead the way. Mixon is back in this one. Hopefully he stays healthy and helps lead us to a victory. Now, as mentioned, the Panthers really haven't had a great season, but they still have some dudes for sure. I mean, you could already see an X Factor and a superstar out there, as we needed the cut back in there. Kept it to the outside, wasn't the right choice. So instead it leaves a 3rd and 7 to start off this game. Murray back in shotgun, has a bunch down to the bottom. Will be a pass as he goes deep downfield and needed that a little bit taller. He had Mims for the touchdown, but it came up short. Smith knocks it away and we will punt. And now the Panthers offense will head out. They have Sam Howell at quarterback, who had 34 touchdowns, about 10 interceptions, I believe, this year. They have a pretty good looking offense, at least from some of the players you could see out there, as Gibbs is the running back, picks up 6. We also, in the intro to the game, saw they have Keenan Allen. They have Kyle Pitts at tight end. I mean, they have some weapons. With a quick throw up top, first down, crossing midfield. Hunter Renfrow getting receptions in this universe with a big first down for the Panthers, as they'll go back to Gibbs with a stretch down to the bottom. Not the smart choice, should have stayed behind Pitts as a blocker, will just be a gain of 2. Murray with good pursuit, good angle, gets the stop, as it's 2nd and 8, sticking with some heavier looks. Back to Gibbs, this time down the middle. More patience and breaks the tackle before getting picked up and slammed down Asamoah. I would really like to see a big game from him in this one. That last one, he let us down a couple times and arguably kind of cost us a game, as Gibbs will squeak out the first down. Zaven Collins with the tackle post-game, as they'll get it inside the 30. With a spread look, they got 3 down to the bottom, 1 up top. Howell from the pocket will throw, finding Hunter Renfrow for about a gain of 9. Started to get a little bit of a pass rush there, but they quickly got it out. 2nd and 1, back to Gibbs with space down the middle. We'll pick up another first down. 5 carries, 24 yards. And then has them down inside the red zone at the 16 with an empty set here for Sam. Will be a pass, no quarterback draw. They find Pitts for the first time today. Not enough for the first down, gain of 9.5. And for some reason, Sam Howell's character looks like Keanu Reeves, as he does go back to Pitts, just shy of the end zone. And from there, they'll bring out the heavy set, goal line versus goal line. For 1st and goal, they toss it. Gibbs headed outside, goes nowhere. Loss of yards as we get a tackle by Gibson. And I realize that if we win this game, we would essentially have the same record we had last year, as they do not get into the end zone there. And Hunter Renfrow, a little bit slow. Looks like maybe a stinger perhaps, as he heads to the bench. But can our defense get the stop here on 3rd and goal? The goal line stand as they go back to Gibbs, and he will walk in that time. Got a great push on 1st and 2nd, but on 3rd down, we did not. So from there, we'll jump into the slightly quicker view here, as Preston Williams picks up 11. We need to answer back this drive, and losing 2 doesn't quite help out. We pick up 5, and then a throwaway on 3rd down. Murray just doesn't seem to really have the desire right now. Had opportunities late in the last game, and he gave it up. We do get a stop there on 3rd down, so okay, wasn't expecting a 69-yard punt. Decent return from Pringle. Was about to say we should be getting good field position, but essentially the same as last time. As we have a nice steady start to the drive here, then a knockaway by Lattimore. Picking up 7, Mixon, leaving 3rd and 3, and hey, there we go. Willis for 16. Get us inside the red zone? Yeah, we will. Mims. Trying to level this one up here with a little under 4 minutes, or under 5 minutes here in the 2nd quarter. As Murray We'll go across the middle. He finds Mims, who gets picked up and slammed down at the 4. Kyler 5 of 8 so far today as we bring out the goal line at the 4. Mix in the back. We'll hand it off down the middle. A good cut towards the top and into the end zone, leveling this one up here in the second quarter. Need to see some more steady drives like what we just saw there. What we also need to see is the defense getting stops as Gibbs starts them off with 6 and make it 2 times in a row. As they get 12 to Hunter Renfrow, he's back in the game, so it seems like it was probably a stinger earlier. As they get the first down there in plus territory inside the 40, as they have a replay there as we hit the 2-minute warning. Gain of 5 by Howell, knock away Asamoah, and an interception by Awuzie. We have a minute 45 on the clock before half, needing to find some points. So we'll head out here with the offense as we start in shotgun just shy of the midfield line. It will be Murray setting up the halfback screen. We get it out, and it's not a halfback screen. Technically, it's a wide receiver screen as we had Chenault as the backer. And he'll stay there with a 2nd and 8. Will be a pass going down to the bottom, caught by Mixon. So those two switch, and we get the first down. Leaves us with a minute 20. We have all 3 timeouts, and we're about in field goal range. With a bunch up top for Murray. Sitting in the pocket, waiting. We'll go to Mixon with a cut, but not going to go anywhere. He takes a shot as well from Sanders, picking up 7. After calling our first timeout for a 2nd and 3. A little bit outside the 30. Here we have the split backfield. Rolling down to the bottom, Kyler will tuck and run, but won't gain anything. Actually, a loss of yards with a sack by Van Ness. No timeout called that time, leaving 3rd and 7 with trips up top, 1 down to the bottom. Hard count, no one jumps. Murray going deep downfield. He has Mims. Oh, no, he drops the touchdown. Should have been it. Should have been it. But a booth review is coming in. I'm not sure what they're reviewing. Maybe he dropped the ball after he stepped out. I honestly have no idea. You could maybe say that's the case. Maybe he thought it was a touchdown, celebrated too early. That left foot, I believe, came down in bounds. This could potentially be a touchdown. And yeah, they're gonna count it. 13-7. All right, play the music. We got a touchdown here. Plus a point after? Yes, make it 14-7. Definitely would be a questionable call in real life, and I would agree. But they say he had possession before he stepped out, then he dropped it. So, touchdown as Kyle Pitts gains 23. They're trying to find at least a field goal here before half. 14 seconds left. A sack by Gibson. Will seal it. A 7-score game at half as we boot it away. Defense will head right back on out. As the Panthers trying to level this one up now as they start the second half. They have a 3rd and 5, and they gain 13 to Hunter Renfrow. As they're now past midfield with 8 more to Keenan Allen. 2nd and 2. First down after the 5-yard rush by Gibbs. And then another 5-yard rush by Gibbs. 2nd and 5. A sack, Gibson back again. 3rd and 15. Keenan Allen gets 26, and we'll jump in from here. Trying to see if we could get a stop, turnover, something here with a 1st and 10 at the 22. Sam Howell going deep across the middle, down to the 2. That was Asamoah in coverage. So definitely lacking a little bit there at safety. It was an experiment. We'll see if we stick with it in any possible seasons as Gibbs dives into the end zone. I was hoping for a little bit more of a clear-cut path to victory because we have to win if we even want a chance of making it to the postseason. 3rd and 8. Willis comes through. Haven't seen any updates on the Jets game. That's the big one as they were already in that the 7th seed spot. As Preston Williams picks up 6. Willis with another first down for us. 1st and 10. We go back to Mixon 2. That leaves us 2nd and 8. But hey, he picks it up on the next go-around with a 1st and 10. Back to Mixon for 3. Then 8 more, and good spot to jump in from here as we'll start the 4th quarter. We're at the 23. Tie game, 14-14. We got 3 down to the bottom, 1 up top. Murray dumping it off underneath. Will find Preston Williams, gain of 8. Pretty accurate today, 13 of 16 for Murray. As we need 2 more yards here for the first down, that'll be at the 13. Murray from the pocket, dumping it off across the middle, back to Preston Williams. Gets picked up and slammed down by two Panthers defenders. No problem though, he's hyped. Got himself a first down inside the 10 for first and goal at the 7. As we have trips up top, Willis down to the bottom. Murray from the pocket, quick throw, not gonna find a third straight. No, that one was actually going to Mims, just kidding. Second and goal instead. As Chenault, the running back here, have Mixon in the slot. We hand it off Chenault, trying to find some space, but no. Once again, picked up, slammed down at the 5. Honestly, running those a little bit more than I would imagine the 49ers actually do. Third and goal. Will be a quick throw, but inaccurate, plus we were not getting there anyway. Third and goal here. You need the point, so field goal unit heads out. Brown to put us in front at the 12, make this a 22-yarder for the lead. It is up, it is through. Field goal game. And once again, it comes down to the defense. With about 6 minutes, it's almost the entirety of the quarter here for the Panthers to find some points as they get the first down there, 13 more to Renfro. So we definitely have been struggling in coverage, though this does seem like a pretty decent receiving group, plus having to guard against Gibbs as he picks up another first down on 3rd and 1. They are essentially in the red zone. We'll run one more play here. They lose a couple yards, so 3rd and 4, they get the first. Gonna need you to stand tall down here, defense. Force the field goal. Don't give up a touchdown. We're just over 3 minutes left in this one. Howell from the pocket. We'll dump this one off. A quick tackle as Asamoah comes crashing down. Both defenses playing well in this one, despite not being some of the higher ranked defenses. Maybe blame that on the offenses. As Howell trying to roll towards the top instead. In comes the rush, and it will be a sack by Winfrey. The DT gets the big play. And that'll leave them with 3rd and 8. They could get a first down at the 6. It's an empty set here for Howell. Back in shotgun, sitting in the pocket, waiting, stepping up. He's gonna run. He has the first, diving down at the 4. I feel like that's a bad spot to me. He dove forward, he didn't slide. Should have been down at the 2, but I'll take the 2 extra yards there as we hit the 2-minute warning. Once again, needing a goal line stand here, and it's actually more like the 3.5. As it will be a pass right across the middle. Keenan Allen down to the 1. Quick reaction there from the backer, but needed a bit even quicker to knock that one away. As it's 2nd and goal. They hand it off. Gibbs walks in untouched, and on top of that, Okoronkwo shaken up. We're going to need a touchdown here late, as the extra point would make it a 4-point game. And indeed, it will be. And with just over a minute and a half, 3 timeouts, we're headed out here with the offense. Again, needing to try to control this clock. As we have our guy, it's Preston Williams with a nice chunk play to midfield. We'll let the clock run a little bit there, saving the timeouts. As we'll stick with the same look. See if we can flood one side of the field. Get this one out quick to Mixon. Not going to gain much. Probably should have waited then. Let things develop a little bit. As we'll get back to the line quickly here. Williams again on that corner. They drop this time. We get the ball out, avoid the sack, but it's 3rd and 8. Needing a first down. It's 4-down territory for sure. As hard count, no one jumps. We'll dump this one off. We find Chenault. It's not the first. Let's call a timeout there. And the season comes down to this. A 4th and 2. As we're actually going to run the ball here with some space. Mixon tried to bounce to the outside, but it's the first down that counts. Let's quickly get back to the line here. Try to get an extra play in. I would love to see if we could find Chenault downfield. Time continued to run. A little bit too much time comes off the clock. Look for a back shoulder. We find Chenault down to the 3-second timeout called just over the top of the defender. And we'll have at least one free stoppage of time. 8 seconds left. We need the touchdown. As we're looking to find P. Ryan across the middle. Touchdown to the running back. Out at receiver. 5 seconds left. We got the job done here late. We just have to hope some games go our way. But we really need to take a second look at this play, as it barely got over the top of the defender. Just over the fingertips, and the feet were close. getting the toe taps with about, I don't know, you'd say about 6 inches from the sideline. One heck of a play. But like I said, we did our part. We got our win in week 18. We just have to hope that some of those other games went our way. I do know the Chargers lost. That's not necessarily going to help us get in, but for the divisional foe, I mean, nice to see. As it all comes down to this. But we would just miss out for the second year in a row. We finish 8-9, and the final standings in the AFC look like this. The Ravens get their win. The Jets also win. The Ravens get that final seed. Did we play the Ravens this year? We did. In week 2, and they smoked us 35-7. What about the Jets? Did we play the Jets at all? No. So it really came down to that just weird game. We had a couple just strange games this year where we got blown out. Ravens was the first one, that 35-7. We then had the Falcons 33-0. And in a way, even though it was a win, you could kind of count the 6-0. The offense got shut out. The defense did really well, but the offense basically non-existent in that game. So it was a very up and down season, but we've kept it close each and every year. We just need that little something to take us over the top. Let's take a look at the stats, though, see how we did there. 24th ranked offense, so we didn't deserve to be in the playoffs of the 24th ranked offense. Defense, though, much better at 11th. Kyler did take a step back this year. Only 19 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, a little bit under 2/3 completion percentage, and he was sacked 32 times. Running-wise, Mixon, a little bit under 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns, no fumbles, solid there. Murray, he scrambled around a little bit, but honestly not too much, no touchdowns nor fumbles. P. Ryan did have 1 fumble, but he had 4 touchdowns, 3.5 yards a carry. Even Gray had a few touchdowns, 3 for him. Willis had 2, though he did also fumble once, and it looks like Mims also fumbled. I'm assuming that was on a reception, as he did not have any carries. In terms of receptions, though, it was Chenault who led us with 829. Both him and Mims are pretty close last year, so that seems to be the case moving forward. Both of them averaged under 50 yards per game, so not great. 6 touchdowns led us with Mims. Chenault had 4. Preston Williams, solid. He's kind of the number 3 guy for us and did fine with that role. McBride, nothing flashy. Mixon, not a whole lot in the passing game, so the 49ers playbook definitely doesn't work like the 49ers real-life playbook. In terms of blocking, Bakhtiari gave up 12 sacks. 6 for Lane Johnson isn't bad. Morris, not bad at all. Considering he was about a 70 when we started this season, only giving up 5, I'm good with that. Humphrey and Smith continue to be solid for us. Defensively, I'm pretty sure this is 2 years in a row Murray has had 100+ tackles. Asamoah was second, so he was getting a lot of tackles, had some tackles for a loss. I just have no idea if he was giving up a lot of catches because Madden doesn't keep track of that. In terms of tackles for a loss, Phillips averaged 1 a game, so that's great. Ogba had 12, 11 for Okoronkwo, and some going down the line as well. Do we see anything good from the rookie? He had 2 tackles for a loss, 51 tackles, 1 sack, 1 interception. Not bad. The sack leaders, though, are going to be Ogba and Okoronkwo, both with 9. So Gibson took a little bit of a step back this year. 6.5 was his final total. 5.5 for Morgan Fox, 2 for Winfrey, 1 for both Phillips and Robertson, and then split between Murray and Perkins. So Perkins was a starter. He really didn't do a whole lot, but he honestly wasn't out there all too often. As for interceptions, again, we have a 2-way tie. Oliver and Awuzie both had 4. Murray had 3, 2 for Collins, and then 1 for Robertson, Asamoah, Flowers, and Witherspoon. So it's also good to see Asamoah did get a pick out there. I think he'll be all right moving forward at strong safety. I don't know if we have many other options either. At kicker, actually a much better year this time with Tanner Brown, considering he's a much lower overall than the former. I want to say it was a Crosby, perhaps? Honestly, can't quite remember. Solid from him this year. Punting-wise, about 45 yards a punt by a kicker, fine by me. But as we wrap up Here, I do want to show you guys a little preview of what will be happening next episode as we start with obviously the offseason, getting ready for the next round of, well, season 3. So here are our options. There's actually a top 5 quarterback I do not expect us to go after, Glenn Bullitt, a very Oklahoma quarterback name there. His short accuracy is a C. We don't know about the medium, but we have Kyler. We're good there. There are some good guys here on the skill positions for offense. Alex Hemsley looks like he could be pretty good. He has some fumbling concerns, but he still looks really good. There's also a receiver in George Green, who I'm curious to see, how is his speed? Do we have a rough idea here? Solid to good? Perhaps. Preston Williams, I want to say, is going to be 28 or 29, so we might need to go after one of these guys. And I keep undervaluing these receivers because they actually end up always being a lot better than I think they're going to be. So I'll keep that in mind as we move towards the next episode. There's also a second to third round who's actually around 3 to 4 and a day 3 that's actually potential and drafted. We do have some tight ends as well. Maybe we need one. We keep having some injuries to our tight ends, so who knows? We haven't had a true fullback yet either. There is an offensive tackle that's draftable around 1 to 2. He's not great in terms of run blocking. Actually, that build kind of reminds me of Bakhtiari. He's not as good of a run blocker by far compared to his pass blocking. As for, and we haven't gotten to any of the Colorado teams yet. Linebackers, there are some day 3s, not much for the secondary. As we then move to the Colorado side, we do have another receiver around 3 to 4. Not much of a release. We'll see. Offensive line, nothing more to really look at. There are some defensive linemen, a day 3 left end who has some finesse moves, so that could be good in the day 3. And then Dylan Bonds, who does have some block shedding, has some power moves, but a little bit of some finesse in there as well. And Phillips is getting on the older side. I want to say he's going to be about 33, so we need to find a possible replacement for him. Bonds could be it. Past him, though, really not much to look at. There is a free safety in Pat Adams, but not in love with the talent I see there. And we did add the Air Force guys, as I learned while recording this episode, that Air Force Academy is actually in Colorado. So we've added them. I didn't even look to add any of them in that previous draft. I don't know if there was any. Might have been a big miss on our part. So either way, that's going to wrap up season 2. Once again, we were a game out, half a game out, because we had the same record as 2 of the teams that did make it. So just need that slight step forward. I think some more consistent play from the offense. Defense seemed to grow well as the season went on. So if they could just also take another step, that would be great. Make sure you stick around so you do not miss season 3. Hit that bell icon on the bottom right or scroll down and hit that subscription button down below. They both do the same thing in subscribing to this channel. Definitely make sure you tap that bell icon though so you're notified of when these videos go live. This series every single Wednesday and Saturday. We also have the traditional franchise with the Rams. That's every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Plus the shorts highlighting everything happening in these episodes. So make sure you stay tuned. And until next time, with season 3, and hopefully we get 10 wins and make it to the playoffs. Fingers crossed for that. We'll see you then. Bye.
How it's supposed to